Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of PoCommunity. I'm Mike Arboyd and I'm sitting here with Manny Kang from Desimark. Welcome. How's it going, man?
It's great, Mike. Thanks for having me here. Good to be a part of the network here. You guys are doing some good work out here.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, we've been in touch for a long time now. I mean, you were here when we were pretty much just a shell of what we are now, right?
Absolutely, yeah. A couple of years ago, and I remember this room when it was under construction.
Yeah. Now it's come a long way.
It looks amazing setup.
We thought we were done just at the green screen, and then we decided, let's use the other half of the room and try to use that to the best of our ability too, and make it a nice little set. I think we did pretty good.
Well, you guys did great, man. Yeah, humble guy.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of help. Our producer here, Mo, amazing. Been a lot of help. We're growing. I mean, it's been tough. It's been a crazy couple of years, but I mean, it's growing. It's what we want, and I mean, we've been talking for a while. You've seen us grow, so thank you for coming. Thank you for wanting to be a part of PoCommunity. I don't know if you've seen how far it's come since the beginning. We're trying to bring up our production. So you're lucky enough to get here while I think this is our third or fourth studio show in here. So yeah.
Oh, good, yeah. No, I've been watching your YouTube videos when you post them up, and I got a gym set up downstairs. So sometimes I hit my subscription, so I'm one of your subscribers. So I'm watching the programs.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it's good. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Keep it up.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, tell us about Desimark.
Yeah.
Obviously, it stems from Glacier Media.
Yes.
When we were dealing with you, it was Glacier Media. But tell us about Desimark.
Yeah, so Desimark is one of the newest divisions of Glacier Media. So I like to say it's powered by Glacier Media, our digital team. And there's about 50 people behind me that are helping this new concept. Desimark is actually a name for Desi Marketing Group. So Desi is another word for South Asians, and it's digital marketing solutions to reach South Asian audiences. Nice. So that's the message I'm taking out to the community. And, we're helping local businesses attract a South Asian consumer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So what made you want to branch out and go in that direction?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's been a concept that I had in my head for a couple of years. Experimenting with a few clients and some campaigns we've done along the way. I found an opportunity there. I thought, it could be really successful here. The way the South Asian community has grown in Vancouver, right? I mean, we are one of the hottest centers in all of Canada. Yeah. And with new immigrants coming into the, our local community, there's needs for services, right? When some of my community arrives here, let's say from India, in the first couple of years, there's so many things that they need to purchase, right? They need a place to live, they need a car to buy, and it's an opportunity for local businesses to get their message in front of them. And I thought I could be that kind of middle portion where maybe we can help our local businesses here, Canadian businesses, parlay that message and do a quality creative and land it in front of that audience.
That's awesome. So obviously you have a history in marketing.
Yes.
So what got you involved in helping people out and promoting and in marketing?
Yeah, that's a good question. My actual background is in sales. Yeah. That's where I started, right? I was in retail sales for many years. And I became a manager in that company that I worked at previously in retail. And I was that guy that always went to the marketing team or the owner that said, we should be trying this. We should be trying this. Then after a while they said, you sure you want to be in sales? Maybe you should be working with us in marketing. And just trying some campaigns and some creative ideas, just developed a love for it, right? And working creatively, and then when you see that idea work for you and you get some great feedback from the front lines, it shows in the numbers, of course. So it just went down that path of, traditional marketing. Like I'm talking now, this is back in the 90s,
Yeah.
right? So I've been at it now for quite a while. And then around 2010, 2011, I kind of started self-educating myself a little bit more in the digital space,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, so it's been fun, and it's working with a lot of creative people.
Yeah.
And I've owned a business in the past, and when I get to work with a small business owner or a mid-sized business owner, I'm very open with them and transparent. And if you can make something work for them, these guys put everything on the line,
Yeah.
right? They're working hard, and there's companies that come in sometimes, and it's about the quick sale.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy, or
No.
I don't want my company to be that company, right? So when I come in, I always say with my clients, if you see me at a function or you see me down the mall, I want you to come up to me and give me a fist pump and say, "There's Manny that helped us out."
Yeah.
So I work with that type of kind of intent.
Yeah.
So it's awesome when you can help a small business out.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about marketing is I don't think there's many like middle of the ground people. It's either like just about the money or actually about the people, and the ones that are actually about the people will actually get more money if they're actually fighting for the people and the businesses instead of just looking at them as a like basically another dollar sign.
Yeah.
And that's I think the difference. If you treat a small business and you do like you market something well for them or you promote something well for them, they're most likely going to come back to you, and their success is going to mean success for you.
Yes.
And people underestimate the value of just word of mouth, and people know small businesses. Ever since being in this business that we've opened, it's amazing how tight knit the community is, no
Yeah.
matter the industry. I think like industries that you would never think cross paths know one another and support one another. So if you are in marketing and you're one of those people that actually is trying to do what's best for your customer
That's
instead
right.
of just even when it's hard, even when you have to tell them how it is, they want something that you like really is either too much, it's a crazy idea. You have to tell them how it is because you want them to succeed, not just always people pleasing, if that means like just like I'll do whatever you want even if the outcome isn't great.
Yeah, no, you can't, you have to, they're trusting you to give your expertise and, bring best practices, because they're so busy running their day to day,
Yeah.
right? They don't know. And you don't want to lead them down the wrong path. So my number one mandate is do it right, always. And like you said, the word community, that's huge in our industry too, right? So once you build that track record and that word gets around, if they say, and people call me Marketing Manny,
Yeah.
right? So they'll say Marketing Manny's the guy, call him, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be, that kind of organization where we're always picking up the phone saying, do you want to buy marketing? Do you want to buy advertising? Do you want to buy advertising? Because there's so much competition,
Yeah.
right? Like local retailers and local businesses right now. I mean, on a day-to-day, you guys probably get it here too. You probably get calls from overseas, from the US, from other Canadian agencies, right? Somebody has a system that's better.
Yeah.
So if you do the right job and you do it the right way, you build your community there too of that referral network.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said in like 2010, 2011, you started kind of going towards digital marketing. Obviously, in the last couple of years, I think it's pretty much taken over any kind of marketing is digital marketing. If you weren't a company that was utilizing it before, you pretty much need to now, especially in the last couple of years. Even I use the example of restaurants. Like if you're a mom and pop business during the pandemic that didn't have the DoorDash, the Skip the Dishes, all those different, basically working with all these different companies, and you don't have an online presence, it's could have been basically ending of your business because that's how everybody was doing everything in the last couple of years. So what have you seen? Like have you just seen like a boost in pretty much people using digital marketing for everything? I'm seeing less and less like bus stop ads and like that kind of marketing.
Yeah. Well, what I think is like what I've seen personally is the ratio shifted a bit. So somebody might have had like 100% of their budget, maybe 60-70% of it was more traditional marketing like bus stops or local efforts, and less of it was maybe attributed to digital. That's kind of flipped now, right? So more of it's being flipped over to digital, but that local support is still good, right? Like if I could have Desimark on every bus stop in Coquitlam here, and billboards, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But then the nice thing with digital is there's so many ways that you can target, get closer to your ideal customer, and then you can measure that,
Yeah.
right? So we can share with the client, you spent X amount of dollars in this month. As a result of that, we brought this many people over to your site. As a result of this, we generated this many leads or phone calls. That really helps that local business quite a bit,
Yeah.
right? So we don't always say go 100% digital,
Yeah.
right? Because there's still a local audience.
Yeah.
That local branding still makes an impact,
Yeah.
right?
Do you find that I've talked to other digital marketing people,
Yeah.
and they all say that it's difficult when you're going towards all 100% digital marketing you have to have that perfect balance of not coming off spammy, that an addy, where I don't know if you like it when you're on like Facebook or something and you're scrolling through and you see the ads. There's like a mixture of like ones that seem like they're meant for you, and then there's ones that are scary meant for you. Like there's the ones like weird items you'll find like on like Wish or something, like a Wish ad.
Yeah.
But like you really, I don't know, it's difficult. You'll see the difference between ones that seem like it's an infomercial compared to an ad that's actually going to benefit you.
Yeah.
Do you find that challenging at all?
It can be. I mean, the one thing that we find is like, let's say a brand new customer or prospect engages us. They usually start at the point where they want to be like, in marketing, we have something called a funnel. And at the bottom is conversion. If you've done all the other things right, conversion means you not won that customer, they're going to buy something, right? They want to start there, right? And so if that business doesn't have the right advice and they're starting them there, then they come across like what you said, pushy maybe.
Yeah.
Right? A little bit in your face. But what we believe in is warming up that audience, right? Like, if you didn't know me, right, and I'm just trying to sell you something, I met you at a function, I'm going to be that annoying guy. I'm going to be like, here he comes again, right? So we believe there's a part of that funnel to do some brand awareness, warm up the audience, provide some nuggets of information, right? So the companies that are doing really well these days are pulling the customer towards them, right,
Yeah.
rather than sale. This 24-hour sale, 48-hour sale, those tactics, they worked once upon a time,
Yeah.
right? We would do a local double page ad in the local market, and TVs are 50% off and 72-hour car blitz, car sale. It's changed quite a bit now. You still got to build your reputation,
Yeah.
right? The pendulum's changed, I would say. Like all of us as customers, we all have way more power now.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Before we deal with a business, like you can find out everything about me going online or about my business, reviews, testimonials, and maybe the type of charity work that company is doing to get a good feel for that company.
Yeah.
So that pendulum, now the power is in the consumer.
Yeah, 100%. And that I feel like back in like even when I was a kid, salespeople, the used car salesman like mentality and what people, the ideology that
Yeah.
people had about a salesman was the used car salesman. And I think that has shifted now with sales and marketing. People are using who they trust,
Yeah.
and that's the last thing they trust. So you're seeing almost like the death of that salesman. It's not, unless you're going to the used car lot, you're not getting the used car salesman mentality of like selling you a lemon. You're expecting to be sold a lemon. You're not expecting good service. You're just needing that used car at the time. So that's the only reason you're using that person. But now, especially since COVID, I think it's all trust. I think trust is like number one in so many different people's priority lists. Like it's just who you're dealing with, who you're giving your money. Small businesses, a lot of them have been hurt heavily. If they're not out of business, they've been like hovering at a point where they're not comfortable, and they're like, where do I have this extra money to? We know marketing is crucial. We know we need it, but where does this extra money come from? Because we're taking a hit right now.
That's right.
So it's like it's really, really freaking difficult. But those companies know they need it, so if they're going to use it, they're going to use it on people they like 100% trust and know that their money's going to be stretched in the best way possible for them, right?
They see you hustling for them. They see you making an effort for them, and as long as you keep them in the loop and keep them educated as to what you're doing, is you become an extension of their team, right? And that's big, right?
Yeah.
So that trust can either build you or kill you, man, like really fast.
Yeah.
Right. So so you're right. It's the consumers have so much leverage right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're busy. The customers are busy running what they got to do. So you don't want to be an inconvenience to them. You want to plug in as a convenience,
Yeah.
right? That's what I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you said it best. Consumers have a lot of control now, and
Hmm.
it's like the good businesses are going to survive if they continue being good businesses, because things like Google reviews.
Yeah.
If you are not a good business, I mean, it's scary because sometimes it could just be a competitor or something just putting in a false review, but there is that thing on yourself that you have to know that we gotta make this business be like we have a standard, and we're
Hmm.
going to keep it to this, and we're going to work hard and keep it to this so we can keep our reviews up, because consumers have so much power.
Yeah.
One bad review can kill a business, depending if they have a huge following. If like restaurants, I've heard the same thing, like one bad meal with one person who has a heavy social media following or something posting that
Yeah.
can like just end a business.
It's a new digital word of mouth now, right?
Yeah.
Like we talked about where to go, where to buy, where to eat. We had asked our own network, and now you got all these peers online that can share their experiences, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the new digital word of mouth.
Yeah. So Glacier Media, how
Hmm.
long have you been with them?
Yeah, Glacier Media I joined back in 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
So how much have they changed? Have they changed a lot? Like, because I know that's like a branch off from Tri-City News, but like, was that originally just Tri-City News became Glacier Media?
Well, it's Glacier Media is kind of like I would say the mother company, the
Okay.
big umbrella, and under Glacier Media, there's different publications across Canada.
Yeah.
So in this local market, the Tri-City News is one of them,
Okay.
and then there's other local publications like the Burnaby Now,
Yeah.
um, Richmond News, and then some of our more popular publications are also like Vancouver's Awesome,
Yeah.
uh, real estate site,
Yeah.
rew.ca. I don't know if you ever visit that. It's one of the hottest real estate sites in all of BC.
REW? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I definitely.
REW.
Yeah.
And then for business community, which might be of interest to some of your members, BIV, which is Business in Vancouver, BIV.com,
Yeah. Okay.
one of the most premier business publications in the province.
Yeah.
That's all under Glacier Media.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. So yeah, obviously that's why I was asking it is how much those companies have had to change, like the Tri-City News, Burnaby Now, like you're
Yeah.
saying, like have you seen a drastic change in what they're doing? Because the whole classic newspaper thing is not, it's from what I understand, expensive. It's pretty expensive to do, and it doesn't have the interest that it used to have.
It's changed a bit, right, over the years,
Yeah.
right? It was very common in a lot of communities across Canada where you might get the newspaper twice in a week.
Yeah.
And now in some of those communities, you get it once a week, or in some communities, they've just gone 100% digital.
Yeah.
Right? So what's happened is the manpower or the teams that make up those publications, they definitely have to be a lot more educated when it comes to the digital space. Like when I started in 2017, I was working very closely actually with the Tri-City team. And I was actually stationed out of that office for the first little bit. And the knowledge that we had and the campaigns that we ran, I mean, we're eons, like light years ahead now.
Yeah.
Right? That was kind of our learning phase, even 5 years ago, and what we're offering as product service and what we learned from the community, right? That's all built up to where we are now. 5 years from now, I'll probably be saying the same thing,
Yeah.
right? This will be another plateau, and it will be that much better, right? So yeah, we're definitely a lot more digital savvy, and the way people are consuming their news now.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of our news sites, 75 to 80% of the traffic's coming from a mobile device,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of the news sites are having 1 to 2 million articles read in a month.
Yeah.
So it's high traffic sites, but they're on the digital device,
Yeah.
right? So people might not want to, they might not read the whole edition, but they're following that story.
Yeah.
You might have heard of a bear sighting up on the mountain here, and they're like, oh, when did that happen?
Yeah.
So they follow that story, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, you always gotta have to have all generations in mind too. I find like that's why like I think newspapers will still live on,
Yeah.
and the news on TV will still live on, cable will still live on, because there's just like my parents' generation, they still got the cable and they don't use the like streaming services. They do like Netflix and stuff, but when it comes to like not knowing that Shaw and Telus have their own streaming services
Yeah.
that are attached to your cable, not many people pay for like house phones, cable, and that's where I kind of compare it to newspapers
Mhm.
and that kind of press. It's still going to be around for as long as people, that's going to be their main way of getting their news.
There's an audience for that for sure. And the other thing I'll add to that really quickly, Mike, is the publications that were maybe a couple times a week, now they're once a week. What I've seen from a lot of them is like they've stepped up their game when it comes to the production of that one edition.
Yeah.
So you're seeing better like local special features. You're just seeing a better product being put on the table, right? A better read in some cases, and there's still some impact that you can make that way.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I just, as a business during this time,
Yeah.
I've just seen the crazy amounts of change, even just being in business for 2 years in marketing, and just we it's kind of lucky our industry that we kind of niched ourselves into with media. We always knew that media was crucial to any business trying to grow,
Yeah.
whether it just be just having a social media presence, putting videos, pictures, whatever you can, and kind of grasping to today's generation and promoting your business that way. And we knew that we had something that works, and we had a good idea. Then COVID hit, and I think now it's 100% even more. It's like, yeah, COVID hitting us really sucked, and it's like any business having to go through it, it's terrible, and we've had to make some sacrifices to continue going. But I think once this is over, this is where everybody's moving to, because media presence is, like I said, this is crucial for all business.
It is, yeah. The other thing is like what you talk about, like businesses and this adjustment they've made in the last 2 years. A lot of these platforms have also, like Google or Facebook, right? Meta now, right? Called Meta. They've also offered kind of do-it-yourself tools, right? So, it's great that they've helped the small businesses. There's so much you can do online that's a free resource now for local businesses, right? So what we want to do is support that, complement that. But the biggest challenge I see sometimes is like the business owners get so busy.
Oh yeah.
Right. Any agency you talk to, any agency manager you'll talk to will say similar things, right? They just miss out. They miss out that consistency. It's kind of like, we always joke about going to the gym, right? We do go to the gym, but did I go 3 times that week or once that week?
Yeah.
The same with media and marketing, right? You got to have consistency, and that's where people like us can help that business be consistent.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, they should be focusing on the big picture, and they can let us do some of the day-to-day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like a business owner wears so many hats.
Yeah.
Especially now, it's a controversial subject to get into for small businesses, but like wages being increased and stuff. For small businesses to be able to afford staff, it's not that the staff don't deserve it; they 100% do. But for small businesses starting out, a lot of them rely on either family, themselves, and they're just stretched so thin because it's really unaffordable in the beginning for them to bring a bunch of staff for help. Training costs a lot of money. Paying people costs a lot of money. It's difficult, right? So it's knowing that you need help and finding that, like I said before, the money that you have, even if it's not even extra money, it's money that you don't know if you should be spending, but you know you need to.
Yeah.
You need to put it in a place you know it's going to benefit. And good marketing is finding somebody who's good with marketing is like, it's live or die for a business, really.
Can be,
yeah.
Yeah.
You obviously with Desimark, you said you're like, it's for the South Asian community.
Yeah.
Is it just to really help out the community? A lot of like small businesses that are run by like people that just got here, immigrants that just got here, being able to communicate with them easier and them feeling more comfortable with the whole transition.
Yeah, there's kind of 2 parts to it.
Yeah.
Right? It could be any mainstream business that's been established, say in Canada for a long time.
Yeah.
It could be a major brand, right? But that major brand might see like an influx of South Asian consumers. Like when you look at North America and some of the data, right? Like in the U.S., the South Asian community was ranked as the highest per household income down there.
Yeah.
Right? Their household income came in at about $120K, where mainstream communities came in at about $60K. So they have that income that's available to be spent in the marketplace.
Yeah.
In Canada, we're seeing that too, right? So we see the South Asian community, some of the Chinese community with some of that income. So I joke around with my friends. I'll say, hey, next time you're driving down the street, look at that G-Wagon or look at that Range Rover. Who's driving it? right? Because there's some money that's been saved up, and our communities worked really hard, and they want to reward themselves,
Yeah.
right? And it's very common, like me growing up, and some of our families growing up, we kind of lived together for longer times,
Yeah.
right? So if you're 18 or 19 and you grew up in Canada, and they're like, you're still living with mom and dad, we're like, yeah, right?
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
saving up. So there's that second generation that's been kind of born here or raised here, and then there's the new immigrants that are coming over, right? So when you're new coming over, you're still consuming a lot of the content that you had back in India, let's say. Maybe I'm reading the Bollywood news from India, I'm reading the local news in India. We can help businesses here advertise on those sites,
Yeah.
right? So your message, although they're going to the site in India, they're getting an advert from your local business here
Yeah.
to make that connection. But then the gap is the messaging,
Yeah.
right? Are we respecting that heritage?
Yeah.
Are we speaking to that consumer properly? And that's where we come in to fill in that gap. Mainstream people who have been raised here, like my community, I've been raised here. I'll go on Facebook, I'm on Google, I'm using my digital media just like anybody else. But still, I have a big appreciation for my heritage.
Yeah.
Right? So there's that messaging piece that we have to carve out.
Yeah, it's a
Right.
connection. I know all about that. My dad's parents were both from Italy, and they both have
Okay.
that like Italian newspaper that it's Canadian news but in Italian. They have they watch their Canadian Italian broadcasts like where they talk about Canadian news in Italian, and
Yeah.
they always had that because it kind of like I always joke that my Nona, my grandma's been here since like 1952 or something,
Yeah,
and
nice.
she sounds like she's never left Italy,
Yeah.
right? Like but it's that community that it just makes them feel comfortable. And I mean, moving across the world is a huge transition in its own to have that sense of community still, but basically, like you're saying, mesh the two worlds together where you're still finding out what's going on back home, but you got the local ads because that's where you're at.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it resonates with them, right? So that mesh word is good.
Yeah.
So coming up with that kind of that special formula right there is the key, right?
Yeah.
And plus, once we figure out what the business is trying to accomplish, we can serve ads in Punjabi, Hindi, English, or we can do a mix of them,
Yeah.
right? So that's where, if you understand the culture a bit, and so I'm kind of in a happy spot that I'm very connected to my Eastern heritage, and I've been raised here, so I can kind of connect the two, and that's what I take out to our team.
Yeah.
So my job is to parlay that for our team so we can exercise it.
Yeah, that's just pretty much the beautiful thing about Canada. I think it's just like it is so much of like taking from what your past is and then bringing it all together for this like multicultural. Just it's a Canada and the United States are two different places. I think when it comes to just how people are one. I think it's more of a sense of community, like it's one community, but you still want to have your old community.
Yes.
So it's Canada's more accepting to that and being able to embrace your past, your history, your culture, your family. Like that's I think North America's in a whole though has gotten away from family values, but the only way the current generation is going to keep that going, no matter your background, is kind of grasping to the old family values from wherever your family came from.
Yeah.
Because literally, I don't know if you were born and raised in Canada, United States, it's kind of, I know my generation, it's moved away from the family aspect of everything, and it's just more corporate business. Where you're going to get that, like how far are you going to get in that part of your life? But
Okay.
I think if people that have that strong family values, actually, it really kind of adapts well to that world.
Yeah.
If you have both values.
No, I totally agree. I mean, the acceptance factor in Canada is definitely in the last few years. It's just grown so much. I have 2 elementary school kids at home, and just this year, in their school year, they've come home and updated me on a couple of focus points that the teachers discussed with them to do with, like, how the South Asian community arrived here in Vancouver. They did a whole subject with the entire classroom, and my daughter's in grade 7. I got a boy in grade 3. And they also did something on some athletes when the Olympics were going on, and they did a spotlight on South Asian athletes. And I thought, wow, I actually wrote to the teacher. I said, I didn't have that when I was in grade 3,
Yeah.
right? Like I didn't get to look up to my own people
Yeah.
and see how they've been a success around the world or in Canada. So yeah, you're totally right about that. Like celebrating our individuality, our cultures, even our special days like Diwali or Holi. Like people didn't know what these names were before,
Yeah.
and now big brands are jumping on board and saying, "Hey, we want to celebrate Diwali with you guys."
Yeah. It's
Right?
kind of like the Canucks. I noticed that they've been
Yeah,
really pushing that lately. It's just different jerseys to represent different cultures, different celebrations, different holidays. Because I mean, that's what Canada really is now. It's multicultural, just a beautiful place where
yeah,
this is like if you there's so much crap going on in the world. We know like it's a crazy time, but with Canada, if you actually look at the people of Canada,
yeah,
it's quite great how it's become like it's a meshed country.
yeah,
Yeah, kids, like you're saying, your kids just have it. It's so much better at school. There's knowledge. Like especially with like if you talk about Indigenous culture
yeah,
in British Columbia, in
absolutely.
Canada, like we were taught such a bleak, like non, like real
Yeah,
history of it,
yeah,
and now it's being known and learning about different cultures is so just it's nice. It's good for kids to hear about the past, the differences, but how much alike everybody actually
yeah.
is in the end. Um, but yeah, man, I could talk about that kind of stuff all day. I have enjoyed you being here. I know that you're passionate about what you do, so I really want our viewers to like know where to find you.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Whether it be yourself, Glacier, or Desimark, where can we find you to get in touch and possibly work with you in the future?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, thanks for that opportunity. And I've enjoyed being here too. So this is great to speak to your community as well. Our website would be probably the best spot to start, desimark.ca. So DESI Mark, MARK, short for marketing, desimark.ca. And from there, my contact information, our email information is all listed there. And then glaciermediadigital.ca
Awesome.
is our digital agency, right? So we're full service agency, and those are the best two places to find myself and the team.
Well, awesome, Manny.
Yeah,
Thank you. Come in again sometime. I enjoy talking to you. Come by the Fountainhead whenever you want.
yeah,
Obviously,
definitely.
it's been a while,
Thank
but
you.
definitely loved having you on. So thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
And thank you, everybody, for watching another episode. Have a good one.